What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is the Purple Political Breakdown, and today I am reacting to an Destiny video because I'm curious to see what he's about to say. Why Jordan Peterson is actually right about what is a woman. I saw the documentary. It was very interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Be dead honest. It was very interesting. One couple eye-opening facts in terms of the origination of gender ideology. Very eye-opening, of course, but I'm curious to see what happens here. What is Destiny?
That's tantamount to genocide. I don't know what tantamount to genocide means. That's a meaningless statement. That's like saying if I punch a girl hard enough, eventually it becomes right. No. Maybe if you punch her in the vagina with your... Academics have to conduct research and teach classes. Destiny sits on his ass all day. Why do you assume that doing research and teaching classes isn't sitting on your ass too? Also, no. Plenty of people have lots of jobs that don't involve just teaching and research all day. Also, it doesn't matter if you can't communicate it. Communicating is important. Pretending a word means nothing if you don't see a strict legal definition is kind of annoying. I don't even know which side you're arguing on. Language is complicated. When you say a word, you're invoking like webs of concepts in your mind. That's how humans use language. The idea that any one particular word has like an absolutist meaning, except for maybe abstract concepts of the number one, is retarded. So somebody like tries to nail you down like, what is a woman? Ask me, what is a table? Or what is a chair? You can't. Oh, nice. Yeah, they disconnect for no reason. Yes. Reconnect me. Yes. This is a dumb analogy. The punching isn't an inherent part of, as opposed to killing or reducing population is an inherent part of genocide. Not necessarily. Genocide has two elements. Both need to be met. That's it. If you're missing one, it's not genocide. That's it. Epic fail. Oh, they didn't call it epic fail. Thank God.
Our old friend Destiny. Stephen Bonnell is in the news again, but not necessarily for the right reasons, because he was recently on the Hodge Twins podcast, and they asked him a very difficult question he struggled with, and the question was, Destiny, what is a woman? And he gave a sort of answer. I believe we have a
What is a woman? That's a really complicated question.
So,
Yo, I have this on 1.5 speed, and that was on. I have no idea what he said. Now, let's try that again.
and he gave a sort of answer. I believe we have the clip.
What is a woman? What? Fuck, that's a really complicated question.
Man.
That's an insanely complicated question.
Yeah.
Here, without diving too deep in all this dumbass shit. Okay, listen, okay? Jesus Christ, okay?
He's trying to think of it.
So
Why is that an insanely complicated question?
It was, but then this is how they responded after he kind of gave some, ran around the bush here about. Do you have the second half of that clip?
Yeah.
Ran around the bush. Oh, so we don't even play my answer. That's good. Okay. Shit, Mrs. Weber.
I think when a woman wants my shit, I think of tits in the vagina.
Sure, maybe, but like you might meet somebody.
No, not maybe. Oh, woman.
Not maybe.
Oh.
Not maybe. So the Hodge Twins were not having it, Destiny.
Wait,
By the way,
what?
Destiny, you got to do better than that. Can you have the full
Gotta do better. You didn't even listen to the explanation.
extent of the clip, if you
Yes.
can?
I feel like we
So he went to basically say all sorts of explanations like, well, you got to understand what qualia is. It depends on the circumstance. And like there's tables and there's curtains. And, is a hot dog a sandwich or not?
Vagina.
And Destiny's not an idiot. We've done multiple podcast content.
Yeah, he's
So
smart.
Destiny, I don't know why he struggled with this one, but this is what he did in an attempt to try to define a woman. Go ahead.
Is a woman.
I'm confused when you talk about the what is a woman question because your argument for a woman possibly meaning all these things sounds like people trying to argue racism is power plus prejudice. No one uses the word woman like that, just like no one uses the word racist like that. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just going to end up re-explaining what I explained on the Hodge Twin show. When you're using words, the goal is to invoke something in a person's mind. Okay, that's all we do when we speak language. The goal is to invoke something in a person's mind. I would say,
I mean, we know this, Destiny, but at the same time, I feel like you don't have to always enter that state of trying to explain the intentionality behind everything that you are doing and the purpose behind words and the purpose behind the answers that are given based off the questions that's being asked. I don't think you need to do that all the time. Sometimes you can give a straight out answer and answer the question. The problem is, which is not necessarily a problem, but to be fair to Destiny, he's like in this debate sphere. The thing is, Destiny, you're always trying to enter in a way so you can allow yourself as an individual to be able to address said answer later on in a kind of debate type format to cover every P's and Q's. Even though something as simple as answering what is a woman, an adult female, even answering something as simple as that, you know that there are certain spaces that is going to be kind of attaching towards that word in different ways. I guess the best way that I could say it. So, I mean, when I kind of talk it out, I kind of understand why you are answering the way you are answering, and it kind of it allows you to better kind of respond to any criticism or any feedback from what your answer is. if you answer in this type of format, which is fair, to be honest, considering how this current political landscape in general is. But at that point, you have to kind of do that for everything, unless you're trolling or joking. Like if someone asked me the question, what is a woman? I probably go like, I mean, I consider it an adult female. And then I'll go onto another aspect of it. Now, when it comes down to it, of course, there are other people who kind of identify as a woman. That really kind of steps into the realm of sex versus gender. In terms of sex, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, being an adult female or whatever you want to kind of correspond with that. But when you talk about gender, you talk about certain kind of cultural and gender cues that can dictate what is a woman beyond the XXXY chromosome. So at that point, I understand why Destiny went down the route he would. I probably would answer the question initially to kind of satisfy both ends in terms of understanding the kind of sex part and the gender part. Well, I'm gonna see what
Say that in like
see what Destiny
99% of circumstances, when you say woman, you say man, people understand what you're invoking there, right? But you take for granted how complicated language is when you speak a thing to invoke something in a person's mind. Because what you're invoking in a person's mind is very rarely as rigid or as fundamental as people like to think. That's why it's funny to me when people say things like, oh, well, when I say woman, I mean like vagina and tits or whatever. And I was like, okay, that maybe you can say that you mean that, but when you identify people as man or woman in society, when we say that, we're not really evaluating them on those circumstances. You might assume that they have it, but we're using this as like proxies for other traits or characteristics.
Exactly.
Or like when somebody says, for instance, even in common policy, like sayings, if somebody says like, "Oh, you throw like a woman," or "Why are you acting like a girl?" Are they literally saying that like you're moving your body in a way that makes it seem like you have a vagina or tits, or are they referring to some like other types of like behavioral characteristics? Right? Instead, when we say words, it's complicated. The question of what is a woman is just a retard's way of trying to get a gotcha because they're either too intellectually lazy to explore.
Which I don't agree to that from what Destiny's saying. I think the problem, like I said earlier, the problem is Destiny's always getting prepared to debate his answers. But sometimes you can kind of just answer how you want to answer while also providing maybe... Is that a fair thing to say? Because you always have to be careful with your words. That might not be a fair thing to say. I think you just need to be kind of blunt. Maybe being as smart as you are, Destiny, I guess the kind of more advanced approach would be answering to satisfy both, but being still you, right? Because the answer I just gave in terms of what is a woman, I believe both. I believe both parts of it, but I answered both because I recognize both. Maybe that's the best way to approach it.
Like trans topics, or they're genuinely too retarded to understand how sophisticated or complicated language is. That's it. Like, what is a woman is just a shortcut to being able to say like, oh, well, I don't think that like trans people are a real phenomenon, which by the way, that's like a defensible position. If you think that trans people aren't real, or if you think that, like the way that we approach trans issues is not real, or I'm sorry, is not good, then have that argument. You can have that discussion, right? Which is fine, but to try to mask it with like a what is a woman? It's like content made by retards for retards to convince retards that they're not retards. Like that's like you think you're getting some like massive own by saying like, well, what is a woman? Like, it's what like any.
I understand what Destiny's saying. I don't really need to watch the rest of the video. I mean, I kind of get the point. That's all we got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You have a good one. Take care.